All right. Welcome, everybody. We've got an exciting guest for you today. I'm here with Jess Frazelle. Say hi, Jess.
Hello.
All right. So today's topic is async AI agents. So previously, we've been talking mostly about agentic engineering in the context of synchronous agents, where you're talking to them and they're giving you answers and stuff like that. But there's this whole category of them that sort of run in the background. They do things for you on your behalf, sort of passively without your reaching out and pinging them. Jess is one of the only people I know who is actually has like tried a bunch of these and had some mixed experiences, some bad, and most excitingly, some good. Oh, um, so yeah, Jess, why don't we just start off by talking about what are some of the experiences that you had with async agents where you sort of, I don't know, turn them on, let them run on your code and pull requests and things like that, and it didn't go so well before we move on to the ones that did go well.
Yeah, so I can share a few examples. I'll just share my screen here. But yeah, most of them, honestly, they didn't even get to the point where we installed it because we had already seen such bad things. But like, because I mean, I don't know if a lot of these companies realize, but like their marketing is like the open source projects that they run on. So like just looking at like, for example, this is Copilot, but like you can see like this is just like low value. Like it's reviewing a pull request, but all it is doing is giving a summary, and then it's like, cool, I didn't find anything to comment on. Well, then don't comment. Like it's just like uh and it does this a lot. Like this is all littered all over like GitHub if you just like search for Copilot. And then like there's a bunch of things like this language not supported, this one's not. It's like I don't care. Like if you have nothing to say of value, just don't say it. So there's a few others like this one's sorcery. And it makes this like huge graph, which like honestly, I mean, I don't know about folks where you work, but like no one where I work would read anything this long. And then it's like, cool, your changes look great. And then it has like an advert here for like installing it on other repos. And like this whole thing is low value. So a lot of these are just like that. I have even more examples. Here's another one with another. I mean, maybe the chart is a value to some people, but like if it actually is not like fixing a bug and it's just doing a summary, it's really like low value.
Well, yeah,
Um,
and especially, I mean,
yeah.
I think I don't know if you've mentioned this, but I've certainly noticed it. AI agents are not reliable when it comes to summaries. I mean, sometimes they give you an accurate summary, but sometimes they hallucinate things or sometimes they miss stuff. And to me, the most valuable things that I've gotten out of agents have been things where I can verify it myself. So if you scroll up a little bit more, there was that example of like, first of all, it's got two little boxes called test suite. Also, they're kind of chopped off, which is a separate issue. Um, but then like it's yeah, OpenAI stream, and there's two of those boxes, and there's a bunch of arrows in between them, and even if I assume that I was getting some value out of this, can I trust that this is actually an accurate summary of like what's going on or that it's not missing anything? Um, yeah, that's I can see why this does not seem like it's going to add a lot of value.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean that's a really good point. I use like ChatGPT for generating a bunch of ASCII art to put in code comments, and like every single time I need to like, hold its hand a little bit on what it is actually doing. So yeah, no, these could be like insanely low value. There's even more examples. Like this one just says that it scanned it and it found no issues with, again, like a little advert. It's just these are insanely low value to us. Like we wanted a bot that like if it has nothing to say, it says nothing. If it does have something to say, it will be more signal than noise. Yeah, let's see. I have some others. This one's Coder Rabbit. That's another one. Again, a summary. And then some like weird quote. Like the whole thing is random.
What?
And it's just kind of like talking to itself here. I mean, like I just don't see where like there's not a lot going on in this VR one, but like it's updating a README and it needed 3 comments on that, which is insane.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I guess to sort of steelman the case for why you might want it to always leave a comment is that way you know it's working and it's not disabled. But to your point, like if the whole thing that you're trying to get out of it is you're like, yeah, I want this to improve my review, not clutter it up. It's like if you have something to say, then tell me something that might add value to the review over nothing at all. But yeah, just something that says like, hey, FYI, here's a review status thing for me to click on and expand to see what it actually was saying. Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's
that's a
actually so true because okay, so basically like how we even came to use graphite, which we actually like, is that one of my colleagues like saw it or used it on some repo and he was like, this is actually good. And coming from like one of our pedantic devs on the team, I was like, oh, it must actually be good. So we installed it, but we didn't know it was working until it actually commented something, which it honestly doesn't say a lot if it has nothing to say. So we were like, is it turned on? We couldn't tell. But then like after we got the first comment, we were like, okay, wait, it's working. But that's so true to your point. But it's also like, I don't know, the trade-off there is really nice.
yeah. I mean, I'm reminded of sort of like stale issue bots and stuff like that, which some people like and some people don't like. But I remember turning one of those on a repo, and at first I was like, yeah, is it working? And it's like, well, I don't want it to say anything unless an issue is 30 days old. So I guess I'm not going to know whether it's working or not for a while. And then eventually I did see one. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it actually is working. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like if you have it eagerly report, oh, I'm working, I'm working, I'm working, I'm working, I'm working, I'm working, and then it's like, okay, you're working, but you're subtracting value every time you tell me you're working. So maybe don't.
Totally. Yeah, I have even more examples here. So this one's one where I actually think like, I mean, not that we're just only fans of graphite, but I do feel like, in those other ones that I showed, like it's saying, like use this or like upgrade or do that. And like the way that Graphite Diamond does this is in the CI comment, which is like this isn't actually going to show up on the PR itself. So like when you have news, putting it in CI actually makes a lot more sense in my opinion.
Interesting.
Um,
I didn't actually know that was a thing, but yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, no, in looking through these, I was like, wait, that's actually brilliant. Like I feel like they just actually care a lot about not being noisy. So yeah, and then let's see, there's some more here. This one's Greptile. There's so many of these bots. So one of these, I don't, yeah, so Greptile, I think will actually edit your original like comment. I think Sorcery does this too. Let me find that one where it edits your original comment, which just seems like so invasive to me. This one's sorcery. Yeah, so like this one edits your original comment, and yeah, this
Yikes.
is just so weird to me that like Greptile will do this too and add a summary in it. Like I just like maybe I don't know, it seems invasive, overly invasive to me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I would want is, it's it's just additive. It's like I have this PR. Wouldn't it be nice if someone gave me a comment occasionally that was helpful, maybe spot something I missed or something like that, and otherwise don't say anything. Don't
Yeah.
subtract value.
Yeah, because then it's just like, cool, looks good to me. It's like, yeah, I don't care that you like it.
Oh,
Like, uh,
all right. Now that's it. Game over. We're all out of a job. If the AI can post LGTM on code reviews,
Yeah, I mean, unless I like respect the bot, I'm not gonna care about its opinion. Which is super sad to say,
well,
but
sure.
yeah. Uh, let's see. This one, yeah, this is just another one of like Copilot summarizing things, but it's just not being like all that interesting. Like I just would never read this because I don't care.
Yeah.
Uh, Same with this one, like language not supported, and then it has some like low value comments that like it didn't even care to show. Like you actually have to just like unhide them. So like I don't know, just don't comment.
Yeah,
No.
and I mean the other problem with that, is in theory this is saving you time by hiding it because it's like, oh, now you don't have to read through all that. But of course, as soon as you show me something like, hey, here's some stuff that you could take a look at, then I'm like, well, now I want to click on it. So it's like
Yeah,
it's a little bit more, yeah. It's still annoying to me.
yeah, it's super distracting. Yeah, this one's Codium, uh, which just says like time to effort, no relevant tests, no security concerns. It's like, okay, who cares? Then it's just like talking about random fixes, but not actually like fixing them, I guess, or like maybe it's the fixes in the PR. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems again low value and a
And
lot of text. It's like I don't want a wall of text to read.
right. I mean, it seems like a lot of these tools are not trying to be sort of helpful, but rather they're trying to like replace the job of doing code review. Like they're trying to be like, I have reviewed all of this code for you, so you don't have to bother reviewing it. Here's what I found. Just read through this, and then you don't need to actually read the code, which I do need to read the code.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna trust the AI summary of the code.
like that's scary to me if there is actually no like code review going on. I mean, especially like, well, for like us being a small startup, like most of the times, like when we're in R&D on something, like it will just be like us pushing the main in a repo. Like, well, we don't do that now because of SOC 2, but like in theory we are. And so like you can just like kind of merge things in, but then every so often I'll have a PR where I like change something in someone's code and maybe it's like using Tokyo async and I'm like actually scared that I might have like messed up a heartbeat or something that someone was like tracking. And so I'm like, can you actually read this code? And I think like that's where it's like incredibly high value as a member of a team to actually like have a human review code.
Well, for sure, yeah. Speaking of humans, there's also a category of async AI agent, which is sort of like it just goes and creates the PR for you. And I guess you give it some high level tasks, and it goes and tries to take care of absolutely everything from, making the like translating your high level description into actual code on a branch, and then pushing up the branch and making a PR for you, which maybe then would get reviewed by another AI agent. I don't know if you've did you try out any of those?
Yeah,
Any of
we
the
have. I've used a bunch of those because our website is like, I mean, sadly, it's just it's kind of like this evil stepchild in our org. Not evil in the fact that like everybody just kind of throws their shit there and then we don't have tests on it and like we have like 500 tests on our actual app, you know, like crazy amount of test coverage. And then like on the API, we have a crazy amount of test coverage, but the app is just like such a shit show. Anyway, so I was like, I'll get like Playwright set up, the framework, and then I'll make sure that like Codex can run it. And then I'll have it, you know, write all these tests. And it turned out to be really bad. Let's see.
So
Oh,
you were
this
asking
one.
the AI to increase test coverage rather than to build new features.
Yeah.
Okay, but it
Uh,
was making the PRs for increasing the test coverage.
Yeah, so it made it this PR. And this was like I actually think Codex now, I mean like I don't want to like speak badly of it if it does do this now, and I think it does do this now, it will actually like reply to comments. But like back when we used it, this was like in June, it didn't. So like one of my coworkers that is actually good at JavaScript, I'm like super shit at JavaScript, so I wouldn't know if this PR is bad. I was like, cool, it wrote tests, like whatever, like let's merge the shit. He was like, you know, had a bunch of comments, like just so many comments that I was like, I don't even want to go back and edit these. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I no longer care about this. This wasn't my code. I don't feel like editing it. But it's just like, it was so low value that it wasn't even worth adding the tests. And there were, I mean, let's see, when I searched this before, yeah, there were 9 that I closed. I think some of these we merged. Uh, these are just basic. I think some of these I merged. Oh no. See, like no offense to Paul. Paul's great, but he's also not a TypeScript person. Once I started getting the actual like TypeScript people's review, they were like, "What is this bullshit? Get out of
Oh
here."
no. Okay,
Um,
well,
yeah.
so did you ever try getting the AI to review the AI written code and just what happens there?
Oh, that's I mean, we have Graphite installed in this repo, and it didn't seem to have opinions on these. So I guess there was like nothing at the time that it had anything to say about. But yeah, I mean, the real humans on our team did not like these PRs at all.
I
Um,
gotcha. Okay. So, all right. So that part of the experiment sounds like didn't go well either. But so let's switch gears a little bit too, because it sounds like the one shining star at all of this has been you after sifting through lots of things that didn't work or didn't add value or subtracted value, you did find one that actually did work. So why don't we talk a little bit about how you found that one? I guess it was kind of just random chance. It sounds like, and what makes you actually like that one and get some value out of it.
Yeah, so my colleague came to me and like he's not someone who like hawks wares or anything. Like he does not like say that tools are good. He's like a Debian developer. Like he uses all open source things. And so when he was like, I saw this graphite diamond thing and it's actually like pretty high value. We should install it on the repos. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Um and so we turned it on and like at first you get like I brought this up just because this is an easy way to like see all the kind of like bugs that it comments on or whatever. Like they have this like kind of feed. And so him and I are watching this feed just waiting for like the first one to land because I was like, he says it's good. Like I'm excited. Let's see what happens. And we didn't like tell anyone else on the team that we installed it or anything. And so like some of the first fixes came through and like honestly like you can even tell just scrolling. Like I scrolled for a long time, but like it got to like 3 months ago. Like it doesn't make a lot of comments. Like these are each like a comment on its own. So like when it does make a comment, it is actually like insanely high value. We get a lot of like the most recent one. Let's see, we get a
Yeah,
lot
can we
of
just
good
pick one and
math bugs. So this is actually like a real math bug, which is crazy. So, I mean, a lot of our code is math because it's CAD, but it does find some very interesting math bugs. Yeah.
yeah, I did see at some point in there was something that said something about like this would cause misaligned holes in the manufacturer or something or other. Which yeah, I mean if that is indeed a math bug that would cause that, that certainly sounds like something you'd want to catch.
Yeah, it actually got fairly good at writing KCL, which is our language. I have some other examples of that. Let me bring it up from our Slack just because it's like really interesting. Let's see. Um, sorry, I have 80 bajillion tabs open and
It's all good.
um it's funny because in our Slack, everyone's like, is this comment valid? Because like you start to like really take it seriously, unless you know like that it's not valid. So let's see. Let me share this other thing. Did I share my whole window or let me share just my whole screen and I'll drag things in? Oh, I was sharing the whole window. Sorry. That was my bad. Okay. Um, So this is one, like this is our language, like a sweep is like a CAD feature.
Mhm.
So it seems like it's saying that like this appears to be a path mismatch in the hook sweep operation. And so it's pretty cool. Like I mean, it honestly like learned our language and it could find things. And then this is one of our mechanical engineers. It's really weird to be like showing my Slack, but whatever. And then so this one's like the chamfer length calculation like creates like a 45. Like it's talking about like mechanical engineering features and like why you would want things to be a certain amount of degrees. Anyway, like it was really cool to see this. And this was like some of our first like, let's see, when was this? Like a long time ago, May 12th. This was like right after we honestly like installed it. So we were crazy impressed, like right off the bat.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I like that little like italics thing that says like spotted by. Like that word, just that word choice of like I spotted this really seems to be like indicative of this is a tool that's presented as like we're just kind of going to take a look at stuff, and if I spot anything I'll let you know. It's not trying to do the code review for you. It's not trying to bombard you with summaries and stuff like that. It's just like, oh, I spotted something, here you go. Which sounds, yeah, like it fits in a lot better than the other stuff we were looking at earlier.
yeah, no, totally. I mean, yeah, it just feels like it's like, oh, cool, this might be something interesting. I mean, we got really. I used to have that like highlight feed tab open every single day, just watching things come in because it was so fascinating. And then it kind of just became old news, which is sad. Like, I hadn't looked at it in a while, but then when I did open it, I saw that math bug. I was like, okay, yeah, it's back on its good stuff. But yeah, it's very cool. So we got really comfortable with the bot, and then we decided, me and the person who told me about it, to use like the system prompt because they have a system prompt you can set.
Mm.
And we didn't need it to like actually do system prompt things. We decided to troll everyone on well, some people on the team. We started with the Canadians, and so you saw comments from Lee earlier on the like TypeScript PRs. But we were like, mentioned maple syrup, poutine hockey. You have to say a boot instead of about.
Now wait,
And
so did it actually do that?
oh what?
Does it actually do it?
So me and this other like engineer on our team, we do this, and like for months we are waiting for the bot to comment, and like both like Kurt is in Australia, so we also trolled him with Louis, but so like both Kurt and Lee and Pierre, they're just like writing good code and it's never commenting, or like when it did comment, it would just not do it. And then one day something crazy happened in that Lee opened a PR and he got this comment, and he goes, the comment appears to be a joke or a non-serious feedback that doesn't contribute to code quality. So it's like actually talking about the system prompt and not the code itself. And so he's like, you guys, I got the weirdest comment for graphite. It like was so vague. I think it's on drugs. Like I don't understand what it's talking about. And me and like my colleague were like, oh crap, it's mad at us for like being non-politically correct in the system prompt. So we had to delete
Wow.
it.
That's bizarre. Okay, I'm trying to guess at what happened here based on the wording that it's using. It says like the comment, right, which is not the system prompt. So it's not aware that it was a system prompt. It seems like what's happening is maybe it does two passes where like the first thing is that it drafts a comment and then based on the draft of the comment, then it goes through in a second pass and like reviews that and tries to like clean it up or improve it. And it seems like what happened is like maybe it drafted some silly comment because the system prompt told it to, and then it went through and reviewed it and was like, this is not an okay comment to post here. And then that's what actually came through.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, we couldn't get it to troll. It was actually pretty sad. I mean, granted, that's not his job, so like we understand that, but yeah, it won't do our bidding for us.
Yeah, okay, but it sounds like the actual valuable stuff has been. So has it primarily been bug fixes, like things where it's spotted like, oh, there's a calculation error like this, or is there does it sometimes talk about like code architecture or like, misspelled variable names, things like that?
I think it would catch like a misspelled variable name. I haven't really seen it catch anything like code architecture. Um, but yeah, it is good at like misspellings. It will actually randomly comment on. We generate a lot of like open AI API specs, and sometimes it will like comment on something in the generated code, which is like a little bit annoying
Hmm.
because it's generated, but it doesn't know that, so I don't really care. But like it will be like this comment has this misspelling in comparison to like your comments above, like the actual like code comments or like descriptions in there. And so then I'm like, crap, I have to go fix it where it actually is. And so yeah, it's good at that stuff, but like it actually like as far as catching a bug that like we as humans would not have seen, it has gotten at least 2 dozen of those, which is crazy to think about.
Nice.
Yeah, when most of these bots are just doing summaries, it's crazy to think that a bot can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I love that because it's not like it's necessarily reducing the amount of work that we have to do. We have to do basically the same amount of work reviewing it. The cool part is just it's sort of like a second pair of eyes. It's like you do the same amount of work, but you get a better outcome because some of the time it catches a bug that you didn't catch. Um, Now, having said that, it can also potentially waste your time if it gives you a bug report that turns out to be wrong, and you go and investigate it, and you're like, "Oh no, there's this bug here," and then it turns out actually no, that wasn't a bug, and then you spent time, on a wild goose chase. I'm assuming that that happens some percentage of the time, but since you like the tool, I'm assuming it's not too high of a percentage. Do you have a sense of like kind of what the ratio is to comments that were like really helpful and you were like genuinely like, yeah, this added value, and then we go and make a code change versus like kind of not necessarily it sent you on a wild goose chase, but like you look at it and you're like, no, that's wrong, that's silly. So it's like you only wasted the time that you spent reading the comment versus the bad category, which is like you read the comment, you believed it, and then only after really digging in did you realize that the comment was just off base.
Yeah, I mean, so that happens on occasion, because there's sometimes where like I'll be in JavaScript and it will be like, hey, change the code to this. And so I'll just do it. Like I'll accept its changes because like I trust the bot at this point. And then my code will break and I'll be like, oh well crap. Like I just blindly accepted this code, not realizing. So then I'll back it out and then I'll be like, I don't know what it was talking about. So and then people will come and comment on the PR and be like, you ignored the bot. And I'm like, no, I actually changed, I added this code and it broke my code. So like that's happened to us a few times. And then there's been times where like it's been Rust code, and that's one where I can more easily just spot that it's wrong. Where like it will say that something won't compile, and I'm like, dude, it did compile in CI. Like, are you high? Because this actually works. I will say like it seems to comment more on like the TypeScript side of things, or maybe it's just I write terrible TypeScript, so it comments more on mine because it's not like it's commenting on everyone's TypeScript review. It's like we couldn't get people that we were trolling write TypeScript, and they didn't get a lot of comments for a while. So maybe it's just when I'm writing a language that I'm bad at. But yeah, it most of the time I will say like it is more signal than noise, which is why we will blindly accept it and then be like, wait, that actually just broke the code. So it happens few enough that we still trust the bot, but enough that now I almost second guess a little bit. Like a little part of me is like, wait, should I actually accept this or not?
Which I guess that sort of trajectory does seem to be a pretty common progression that people go through with synchronous AI agents, where it's like you start off being maybe default skeptical, and then you get some positive results and you start over trusting it and not reviewing stuff. You're like, wow, it's just I'm accepting everything. This is great. And you kind of get you know, a little bit careless or a little bit, you know, too eager to accept, and then stuff starts breaking. And also, like you said, I mean, it really depends on whether the AI is writing code in a domain that you feel really comfortable with versus something that you're not as experienced in. And usually people kind of, I think, oversimplify this as like junior engineers using AI tools and ending up with like, you know, bad accepting bad things because they don't know any better. But as you pointed out, it can happen to anyone. It's really just based on like how well you know the particular type of code that it's writing. Like you can be a Rust expert, but somebody who just does not do like spend any amount of time with JavaScript or TypeScript, and so you just have no way to evaluate whether it's as you know, as good as you want it to be, because that's just not your area of expertise. Um, but yeah, it seems like so this is not immune to that either.
Yeah, no, totally. And I mean it works, it kind of works in the same way that like when I like ask, you know, O3 or whatever to write Python, like I don't, because I'm not like a Python dev, I don't know the right things to ask it. So I just say, is this idiomatic Python? But like
Mm.
someone on our team would be like, Python 3.8 has this feature and you should use it instead of this. And like I can do that with Rust, but I can't do it with I'd be like in Rust, I'd be like, just use if let or whatever, like some new thing that came out that's not new, but whatever.
Yeah.
So like when you know how to like almost Google or like prompt the thing for the right thing, it helps. But I like in languages where I'm not as strong, it's like I only have so many tools at my disposal. So it's totally the same with this.
Yeah, I mean, Python would be that for me because I have basically the only amount of Python work I've ever done really is like helping other people with their Python homework when they're just getting into programming. I've never used it on a job. I know it's super popular, but like if I were trying to write some Python code, which actually has come up, if I'm trying to like code review the code that the AI wrote, I'm going to be like, well, if there's like an if false, I can be like, all right, I'm pretty sure that's not going to run. But like if it's some Python idiom or something like that, or there's some Python foot gun or edge case or something like that, I just have no idea because I don't spend time with that language. And yeah, so it sounds like you get the most value out of this, as with synchronous AI agents, when it is on a code base where you're actually pretty comfortable in it. Like you're able to review its comments and very quickly assess whether or not the comment makes any sense or not. So it sounds like the Rust ones that it gives you are more valuable just because you're a lot less likely to go on like a wild goose chase or to accept a comment that or a suggestion that it made, that you can just instantly look at that and be like, yeah, well, you know, I don't think that's gonna work, just at a glance because you're so familiar with Rust.
Yeah, totally, totally. Um, yeah,
Has that
and
been
to be
true
fair,
of?
like I've only gotten in Rust a weird comment like maybe two times. But yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay, so it's not just your experience, but it's also about like um it seems to do spurious Rust comments less often than it seems to do spurious TypeScript comments. Is that also fair to say?
It could be true, but I also when I make a TypeScript VR, it's pretty rare.
Okay.
So it might just be that I don't see it as much, but I don't know. I mean, there's been I mean, for a long time in our Slack, like people were like, "Oh, this comment was bad, but this one was good," and like so I don't know. I've seen people be like, "Oh, I accepted this," and then it messed up my code, which has also happened to me. So I don't know. I feel like it's just hit or miss, honestly.
Okay, but it sounds like more hits than misses
Yeah.
because overall you've been using the tool for how long now?
Um, over 6 months, maybe
Okay,
around.
yeah. So it's like it's plenty of time that if it weren't adding value, you would have disabled it just like you disabled all the other asynchronous AI agents. But
Yeah, if
this one's
anything,
actually
we've
stuck.
added it to more repos. So
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So that's a pretty strong endorsement. Somebody asked in the chat, what's your tech stack look like? Just the for the whole, you know, company, I guess.
oh yeah, so we're clearly we have a lot of languages going on. Our like CAD kernel is C++, and so we actually just added it last week on that code base. We were not adding it there just because that was probably like the most prickly devs, and they hate noise, so like we didn't want
Mm.
to add it there, but we just like turned it on, and there hasn't been a comment yet, so we've been like waiting. But that's C++, but then there's Rust bindings, and then all of our like services and APIs and stuff like that are Rust. The ML side of things is in Python because they're obviously better at Python than anything else. And then the front end, the app is Wasm. with like Rust Wasm with Electron and TypeScript, which yeah, and then our website is obviously like TypeScript.
Gotcha. Okay. Somebody else asked if you'd tried BugBot, if that's one of the ones that you'd tried out.
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't even know that was a thing. I just knew of like the sorcery and the code
Okay.
rabbits.
Yeah.
But we could look at it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one takeaway from this, it's that there are a lot of these, and they're all pretty different. It seems like they have different approaches to like how invasive they are or not going to be, whether they're trying to do the whole code review for you versus just make suggestions what their policy is on whether they always say something versus only say something if they spot something. Um, yeah, this is really interesting. So, in terms of overall impact, do you have a sense for like, how sad would you be if this thing went away? Is this like this is an indispensable part of your workflow and you could just it's hard to imagine life without it, or like, oh, this is a nice to have versus like somewhere in between? How do you feel about it? Like, if someone said you can never have this tool ever again, like, what would your reaction be?
I mean, it's kind of like this X factor because when it nails a bug, you're like, holy crap! If this didn't find it, it would have been like a week of my time. Like sometimes it's like such subtle bugs that you're like scared that like you might not be able to find it. So I mean, it would be that X factor of like, what am I missing because the bot's not here? So
Mhm.
I guess it gives me this like weird sense of like calm, just knowing that like it looks something over. Um, because there's just been like just little subtle things where I just didn't realize that like something wasn't awaited or like that's in TypeScript, like you can't do that in Rust, but like just small things like that where I think like in an extremely typed language it's hard to do that, but like it's also just found things that are like did you mean like this variable instead, where it like made me focus on a different bug. I'm like trying to think of like specific examples. It's this X factor of like awareness, I guess. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so it sounds like it's definitely been like a positive impact, but it's kind of hard to quantify because the main thing is sort of the peace of mind of like it's not like it's a guarantee, but it's found enough things that would have been scary bugs to track down that instead were just fixed instantly that you would be sad to miss it. You would feel like a little bit more nervous maybe when you're
Yeah.
making PRs.
Especially the math bugs. The math bugs have been really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because those are the type of thing that I would assume is kind of hard to catch with something like property-based testing, fuzzing, like that type of thing. Because if your math is, off, but it's still, doesn't overflow or something like that, or passes your sort of basic, like, yeah, these numbers should always be within these bounds. The I didn't see the exact comment there, but I did see that one that said something about like this would cause misaligned holes. That doesn't sound like something where it was violating a property. It sounded like it was just a little bit off, and yeah, that would be yeah, really frustrating to try and track down a debug if you actually like use the CAD to manufacture something physical. It sounds like.
Yeah, that's like this one's saying like it could just be a little bit off too. Like it's a suboptimal convergence in the solver. So like it's just like these like small little things where you're like, okay, well that's a better idea. I'll do it that way. Which is a little crazy to think about. Yeah.
Got it. So besides the system prompt, how configurable are these different tools? Like, do you, for example, can you say like, other than just by tweaking the system prompt, say like, hey, I want you to do performance reviews versus like, I don't think you do a good job of performance reviews, or I don't care about, optimizing performance for this code base. Okay, here we go. There we
Yeah,
go.
let me just try to find it. I don't even remember where I found that system prompt thing. I rarely go into this UI clearly.
Hmm.
Space settings. Let's see. Oh yeah, so they have custom rules. Um,
Oh, rules. Okay, so not just like checkboxes, but things like that.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's prompt based.
So this must have been where we added the system prompt, I guess.
Okay, so this is kind of like system prompts, but like with a filter. So it only like this prompt applies to like these file extensions or these directories, and these others apply to different ones, things like that.
Yeah, I think they updated this because it used to be way more simple before, where there's just like one text box and we put some text in there. But yeah, I mean, we don't really use these. I mean, as you can clearly tell, because
Yeah,
I
just
think
let it
just by
go. Yeah,
default it works like so like generically well. But also like no one on our team really like I don't think that they know that they could go in and change things that they wanted to. But they
I
also like
see.
haven't asked, so I think everybody's just like pretty content.
Yeah. Do you do you ever like see if it respects things like agents.md or any of those files that are in your source code, or is it just sort of like it ignores all of that and then you just give it its separate customized settings?
Yeah, I actually don't know if it respects those because we have a few of those now. And so uh I have no idea. Sorry.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's something where yeah, I could see arguments either way, and also maybe an argument for making it a system setting and things like that. Um, cool. So okay, so this was we talked about sort of the async code review agents. We talked about the type of async agents that actually make PRs. I'm curious if, since it sounds like you've done a lot of experimentation with a lot of these different tools, and sort of use them in anger, not just to like make a demo YouTube video or something like that. Um, I'm curious if there are any other async AI tools that you've tried out besides those that we already talked about, and if so, what your experience has been.
I honestly think these are like other than this and like the codecs for PRs, which actually honestly I kind of want to try again now that I think that it like will do your feedback based on comments. Yeah, those are mostly the only ones I've tried as far as like async tools. I do like I honestly like if codecs like not the CLI, but like the actual like thing that opens PRs was good. It's cool because I was using it a lot to open PRs for my phone. Like because I was like, make a test for this or like make a test for that. And like, I don't know, that's the dream of like write my tests for me because I don't want to write 85 bajillion playwright tests. So yeah, I think that would be really cool. But we haven't tried like Devin or any of those that I think also do that. But I've also just gotten like, I don't know, like not like vibe but like weird vibes from the companies that they just wouldn't be that good because I haven't seen an impressive demo yet. And the demo that they originally gave, like I watched the YouTube breakdown on, and it was awful. Like if you actually like saw what it was doing, it was and we all know AI can do this. Like it was just like looping over and over again on its own bug. Like it created the bug and then it looped over it. Like I've seen Claude Code do this like recently. Like it's just like you caused this problem. Like, and now you're going to spend GPU time trying to fix your own bug versus just
Right.
the original ask that I made of you. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So your sense is basically like this is something that helps you out by giving you like infrequent notifications. Like it's really it's sort of low touch. It's like you just kind of
Yeah.
install it, let it go, and then compared to your normal workflow, it's just yeah, like a little add-on versus all the other ones. Yeah. See, I guess that's a common theme here is just the more that it tries to do or the more that it tries to replace the stuff that you would be doing anyway, as opposed to adding on to it, the less valuable it's been overall, just because there's so much wasted time on your
Yeah.
like wasting your time.
Like you really have to hold their hands, which is why I do think like this is a good use for them because it's like so focused. It's like either find a bug or don't. And like somehow Graphite is so tuned that like it's like do not say anything unless you really think you have something. Which is nice.
Yeah, so maybe just to level set briefly, because I know some people when they hear people give AI experience reports, they're always kind of thinking like, okay, but like what? How do you normally do things? Like, are you someone who just like writes all your code by hand? You don't use any AI agents, or you just use them for autocomplete, but you don't actually do the like back and forth thing. You mentioned Claude Code, but I happen to know you also tend to prefer open AI models historically for code. So I'm kind of curious, like, what is your like just setting aside the async piece, like what does your workflow normally look like when you're writing code or using agents or not, that's like causing the code to be in a state where you're ready to push it up, make the pull request, and then have Graphite Diamond come through and make comments on it.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna sound so ghetto. But like, yeah, I don't really. I've played around with Claude Code. I like the interface for it in the terminal is so cool. So like, I actually have started now using like the Codex CLI. But like mostly my workflow, like my actual workflow is I talk to O3 about like something I'm gonna do and like the architecture of it, and like I actually like just get its opinion, which sounds super weird, but like O3 is like a really good like high level thinker, and then it can actually go into like bugs like if you have them or you're trying to debug something like it's really great at like dependency hell in crates. So
Mm.
we have some weird crates that like interact with each other, and if you just like give it the whole thing, it will just figure it out for you, which is amazing. So like stuff like that I give it, but like I just copy and paste things out of O3, which is terrible. Like that is the world's worst workflow. So I wouldn't suggest it, but I like that model. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, a lot of people that's exactly how they do it. So it's not like you're required to use an agent that's actually making the edits for you. Um, I the workflow you just described, I actually usually use Gemini for that, like Gemini 2.5 Pro. I'm
Okay.
curious if you've tried that one, or I'm assuming you've tried GPT-5 since that's OpenAI's new thing.
Yeah, I actually, I mean, I now use GPT-5 thinking. I just call it O3 because it's basically the exact same thing. I'm actually convinced that GPT-5 Pro is actually O3 Pro because it has the exact same bugs that O3 Pro had. But yeah, I should probably play around with Gemini more. People really like rave about it, but I like the setting up Google things is really hard, and I actually know that they fixed it, and so I should probably just suck it up and try it because it sounds like a lot of people really rave about it.
Gotcha. So what was your experience like with, because Claude Code is using actual like an agent, like Opus or Sonnet in a loop, doing tool calls and making edits to your code base and stuff like that. Was like how does that compare to your normal workflow? It sounds like it didn't stick.
I mean, I love the interface. The model, like Claude and I just don't get along. He's very sensitive. He can't take feedback very well. So like the second he does something bad and I tell him that it was bad, he's like, oh, I can't work here anymore. And then I have to like start a new context. Whereas like O3, like I praise O3 because he has no feelings. And like, I mean, it could also be like my system prompt literally says like I'm gonna get mad at the code, but it's not at you. But like I say that to Claude too, and Claude still is overly sensitive about my feedback. So I don't know. O3 just like thinks. Like I don't think Claude thinks. I think that you can put him in a thinking mode, but he's still just not very good. I think he's
Mhm.
just like I don't know. If I was like to compare, this is gonna sound terrible, but if I was going to like compare him to people that I've worked with in the past or whatever, he's just kind of mid. Like he attempts to do a lot of things, but none of them are done well. Whereas like O3 will take longer, but he'll actually do something really well. But like he's also not writing like, I don't give him access to the code base like I would Claude, which is like totally different. But even if I give Claude access to the code base, I'm giving him something so templated that I'm like, copy this YAML into another YAML and then just change these things. And he still messes that up. And I'm like, seriously, like you had one job. Like,
So if you're interested in trying out like GPT-5, or actually I guess I don't know if they disabled access to O3, but like in Zed you can actually pick your agent model,
oh, nice.
including GPT-5 if you want. So I guess OpenAI's Codex would be a way to get that in the terminal, and then if you want to get it inside the editor, Zed also has that.
That's
Uh,
awesome. Yeah.
but yeah, cool. Anything else we should chat about on synchronous or asynchronous AI agents? It seems like we covered a lot of ground here.
No, this has been great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Do we have any last final questions in the chat? I think Katie already asked that, but I don't didn't see any rolling in the last couple minutes. So I think that might be. I tried to work all the questions in that as we are going. So, um, Jess, thanks so much. This is really interesting to learn about. I haven't had any firsthand experience, but now I'm sold that it's worth my time to give it a try. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right, and thanks everybody for joining. See you on the next one.